Hey, everybody, welcome to Pistons Daily. I'm your host, Tony Nash, aka Coach T. And the Pistons just forced Game 7 for the second time this year. We're going to Game 7 at LCA on Sunday. Can you believe it's actually happening? I will tell you, history repeated itself once when we beat Orlando. And this same thing happened in 2008, where the Pistons won the first two. The Cavs then went on to win three in a row, and then the Pistons won the last two and won Game 7 at home. So will history repeat itself again? Boy, I sure hope so. That was a lot of fun to watch. There were moments where I was frustrated. There were moments where I was out of my seat with excitement. There were moments when I was yelling at the screen. I was yelling at the refs a lot. I was yelling at Cade after a couple turnovers. Uh, when there were so many great moments. We'll get into them right now. But the Pistons force a game 7. Super excited. What a team, man. This team refuses to give up, refuses to quit, backs against the wall. They just show up. And man, did they show up tonight. Beating the Cavs 115-94, a 21-point victory, the biggest margin in the series so far. Detroit led 80% of the game, had a 22-point lead at one point, and really never let Cleveland get comfortable. There were times where Cleveland made little runs, but Detroit actually held a lead for most of the game. Shot the ball efficiency, 52% from the field, 44% from three. We were 16 for 36. 16 threes for the Pistons is a lot. We won the paint battle by a lot, 48-26, because our all-star center finally showed up. We're going to talk about that in the next segment. Forced 20 turnovers on the Cavs and turned them into 28 points. And listen, that is Detroit basketball. That is what we do. That's how we've won all year. And, if the Pistons will just stick to their identity and not let the refs get in their head and not turn the ball over, we are a tough team to beat. We held Cleveland to 39% shooting, 34% from three. Cade wasn't his most efficient game, 21 points tonight, 7 turnovers, but still controlled the game, 8 assists, and he just led. I always feel better when Cade's on the court. He does draw a lot of attention, and sometimes he gets a little careless with the ball, and it is frustrating, but there is absolutely nothing overall to be frustrated with Cade with in this series. So to me, this looked like the Pistons team that went up 2-0 and just played to their identity. The calls on Asar, those last two foul calls, were the weakest calls I have ever seen. Maybe not ever, but just watching James Harden flop around to get a call, Strus flop around to get a call, and then Cade go down, go up hard, ends up on the floor, does not shoot, get a call. He shot 2 free throws the whole night. James Harden on the very next play runs down, flops his body around, gets to the free throw line. Why do the NBA refs continue to reward that? I just don't understand it. I mean, do these guys not like basketball? Are they being told to do that? It's just crazy to me. And then those last two fouls on Asar. Number one, you don't give a guy his fifth foul on that call, and you certainly don't foul a guy out on that call. And when you know that player is the best defensive player on the floor and a huge impact, knowing that Donovan Mitchell is struggling, it just seems like somebody's trying to control the game. And this is why I said you can't put yourself in a position where the refs have the ability to affect the outcome. And so, even though I thought the reffing was really bad down the stretch, the Pistons held enough of a comfortable lead to not let it impact the outcome of the game. Our defensive intensity returned. Ball movement was back. We had 25 assists. We do our best when we get 30 assists. We're unbeatable. Detroit played downhill instead of settling. Did hit some threes, but played downhill when it mattered. And so now the pressure shifts back to Cleveland, and the Pistons have regained control. This is why you have home court advantage. The Cavs have only won one game on the road in the playoffs. Winning at LCA on a game 7 is going to be tough, but the Pistons are going to have to show up. They're going to have to show what they're made of. And man, if I ever wanted anything, I want to see a Pistons Knicks series. That's what we want. That's what we've been waiting for since last year. We got to see it. So hopefully our Pistons will show up big like they did tonight in game 7, baby. Now, JD finally showed up, had his best game of the playoffs. he responded. And the thing that was the biggest difference to me, because Paul Reed still outscored him, by the way, the biggest difference with JD tonight was he put in effort. He wasn't passive. He didn't look scared. He played with a little swagger, got a lot of rebounds, got some great blocks at the rim, and you saw the effort was there. And it just, to me, I mean, I saw some guys call him out. Kenyon Martin called him out for just saying, hey, man, you're not putting in the effort. And I'm sure he hears that stuff, but he responded tonight with a big game, 15 points, 11 rebounds, a double double, 7 to 10 shooting, 27 minutes, 0 turnovers. So that's a JD game, right? That is a good JD game. So, let's just call it what it is. After a long, hard, terrible stretch from JD, he responded. And does that mean he's past it? I don't know. I really hope we need him to play like that if we're going to win in game 7. We're definitely going to need him to play like that against the Knicks. So let's hope that classic JD is back, some confidence has returned, and we have another good game on Sunday. This was the version of Duren that the Pistons fans have been begging for: active, physical, efficient, playing with force, imposing his will, getting to the rim, and finishing at the rim. He actually missed 3 free throws too, so he would have actually had, and he's been a good free throw shooter. He would have had 18 and 11, which is really close to what he had been averaging throughout the season. Controlled the glass, helped us dominate the paint, but there's still room to grow defensively. He still sometimes looks like the slowest guy in the court, but tonight he showed up, and he showed up big at the right time. And it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So hopefully JD found something and got his mojo back. Maybe the Monstars have left his body and he could get his secret stuff back. Um, but also worth noting, Paul Reed is pushing Jalen Duren. I truly believe that when Jalen Duren is sitting on the bench watching Paul Reed cook, that's got to uh, get your competitive juices flowing. And that certainly had to probably get Jalen Duren in a place where he's like, I got to step up. I got to play harder. But Paul Reed had a great game: 17 points in 16 minutes, 7 for 9 shooting, 6 rebound, instant energy off the bench. I mean, he came in, immediately got a block, a rebound, scored right away, came back down, forced another turnover. I mean, he was great, and he has been great throughout the playoffs. So, I think, again, B-ball, listen, I said this on yesterday's episode, Thursday's episode, that JD has to have a little pride that his position, I don't think it's up for grabs in terms of long term, but in this series, like, your minutes are up for grabs and you need to go take them back. And I think he did that tonight. So I think competition like that matters. It brings out the best in people. No one should ever feel like they're irreplaceable or like someone else. There's always someone younger, hungrier, faster, stronger, whatever. There's always someone out there coming for what you have. And if you don't commit to putting in the work, it can be taken from you. And that includes in the NBA. We've seen it happen time and time again. So I'm glad that JD responded, and I hope that he continues to. The playoffs are here, and it's the most electric time in basketball. On Kalshi, you can trade every single playoff game, every series, the conference finals, and the championship. The Pistons are now trading at 63% to beat the Cavs in this series, meaning, and it was just at 25% yesterday. So winning that game and shifting home to game 7 at home really made a big difference. As the play, on those numbers move in real time, and you can buy in or out at any time on Kalshi. You're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use Fan Art Basketball to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI Kalshi. Trade on anything. Next thing I want to talk about is our bench. Our bench showed up big for us tonight. The depth really delivered for us. We outscored their bench by a lot. Again, Paul Reed with 17 points. Duncan Robinson came off the bench tonight. 14 points, 4 for 7 from 3. I really thought they should have went to him at a certain point in the third quarter where we were struggling to get into the paint. And Duncan sat pretty much the whole fourth quarter. I thought maybe we should have gone back to him. But I think maybe JD realized we had the game in hand and thought resting him maybe was a little bit better strategy. And Sasser gave us some good minutes. 9 points on 4 or 5 shooting, played good defense, created a spark, hit some big shots, and really helped us. Karis LeVert started off really well, played good defense tonight, gave us with 8 points. So I'm not going to criticize Karis because, I'll tell you why in a minute. So, the bench to me absolutely swung the game. Duncan, this is what we were missing in game 5. Duncan does create gravity and spacing like nobody else does and hit some big shots. Reed brought toughness and efficiency. And I don't know where Stu is mentally, but if he's a team guy, I think at this point for the rest of the series, you let B-ball Paul sub for Duran, which we did most of the game tonight, and it was effective. And Stu has played well against the Knicks, so let's get past this series and then maybe we revisit that. Now, what we haven't seen this year is Duran against the Knicks. All 3 games we played them, Duran was out, and we cooked them. So, maybe we need to see a little more Stu and B-ball Paul in the Knicks series. But let's get past Cleveland first. Sasser gave that sneaky, those sneaky good minutes for us, instant offense. And then, Dennis Schroeder tonight, 0 points. And their bench really, really struggled to answer. So to me, championship level playoff runs require depth. And if we're going to truly get past this series and then get past the Knicks, that depth is going to have to show up for us. It's been there for us all year. There have been a lot of moments in the playoffs where it hasn't, but we're certainly going to need that to continue on. So, tonight our bench didn't just survive, they won their minutes. So, I want to close out tonight's episode with some sad news. I'm recording this right after game 6, and I am super, super happy. And we thought we were going to do this yesterday, but my schedule made it unable for me to record. And that's essentially why I am having to, I'm going to have to leave the podcast. And this will be my final episode. This was not an easy decision by any means. This is something I have thoroughly enjoyed. I love the Pistons. I love talking Pistons. And I have thoroughly enjoyed doing this. It has been one of the things I've enjoyed. But I do run a full service branding agency, and we have become very, very busy, and the demand on me to try to do this every single day has become too difficult. And so, because of that reason, I am going to take a step back as the Pistons Daily uh, host. You have not seen the last of Coach T. I will still be making Pistons content, and I do not know what that will look like or where that will be. I'm certain I'll be on YouTube. I do have another podcast on my Tony Nash YouTube channel, but it's a business podcast. Um, but maybe I'll move some of my Pistons content there. But as for now, I need to take a step back. Pistons Daily is 5 days a week. It's a daily podcast, and I'm just not able to keep up with that. Um, but you guys have been absolutely incredible. The comments, the debates, the hot takes, the passion for Pistons basketball truly has been awesome. It's made this season so much fun. Basically, I started right at the beginning of the season, and unfortunately, I'm ending right towards the most exciting part of the year when, we're going into a game 7 and we're going to be hopefully playing the Knicks and I think beat them and go to the NBA Finals. So it's going to be hard not to do this. But again, it is the right decision for me and my family. And so it's not the last time you're going to see me. But the good news is the new host who you guys got to meet yesterday, Connor, is awesome. He is a diehard Pistons fan. He was already making daily Pistons content over on his TikTok and some of his other channels. He had Stones Talk. Don't let the Stones get hot. I love that. Me and my buddy always have called the Pistons the Stones. So that's what drew me to him initially. But this guy knows Pistons, and he and I text back and forth a ton. And he's going to let me still be involved at some level with the pod. I just won't be here every day. But Connor is phenomenal. He has a degree in broadcasting. He was born to do this. He's got the voice. He's got the look. He's got the charisma. And I think he's going to absolutely crush it. So I saw a lot of you guys in the comments today saying, what happened to Coach T? Where's he at? Coach T is still here, but this will be my last episode of Pistons Daily. And I just want to say thank you all so much for helping me grow this. We have grown this channel a ton since I started, and I think it will continue to grow. Again, Connor is the man. He knows his stuff, and he's going to bring another perspective to Pistons Talk here um, that I think you'll really, really enjoy it. You got a lot to hear from him, and he's great at interacting with his fans in the comments. So, um, I'm going to still be right here cheering on the Pistons with all of us. I'm still going to see you guys at games. And again, you will see Coach T soon. I will be making some Pistons content of some kind at some point. I just don't know when, and I just don't know what that will look like. But be patient with that, and I appreciate you guys. I truly have had the time of my life doing this. And now we go win game 7, right? So this might be my final episode of Pistons Daily, but it's still Detroit versus everybody. It's still about Detroit basketball. It's still about those nasty dogs. We are going to keep fighting till the bitter end. And so let's go win game 7 on Sunday. Let's have a great weekend. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for everything. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being with me here every single day. And with that, Coach T out.